Okay, you got the intro ready?
Huh?
The intro.
Oh. No, I don't.
Dude, what the fuck? Here, just hand me that guitar.
Okay, here.
Okay, it's a little broken, but I think I can still work with it. Theme song.
Alex, how's your week been? Did you see the Crosstown Classic?
I saw the last two games.
Yeah. I wish you'd seen that first one. That was a real fun one.
I know, I heard they killed him. The second game was pretty fun, but those last couple innings, I started catching up.
It was intense.
What, they had the tie and run up to bat at one point?
Something like that.
Yeah, it got a little crazy. And unfortunately, I think, at least so far, you're right about the Rockets. Very disappointed.
Yeah. The Celtics holding their own, though. We got game 2 tonight?
Okay, yeah, so they could take out the East.
That'd be fun, but...
Or the predictable team in the East.
Yeah, I don't feel good about that because I'm pretty sure that game is not going to be done in 4. So that means whoever's going into the championship from the East is going to be coming in off of plus 4 games or more.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that the Warriors are going to sweep Houston. So they're just going to be like cyborgs. Like it's going to suck. Again.
Well, yeah, so much for best regular season record.
Yeah, well, you know what's weird? This is a weird statistic I heard. So both teams in the East, in both the East and the West, that actually end up getting home field advantage, they are both also the underdogs in Las Vegas betting. So
Really?
Both the Houston Rockets and the Boston Celtics, though they had better records and they have home field advantage because of such, they are underdogs because of who they're going up against.
All right, yeah, that sucks. Well, at least the Vegases are tied with the Winnipegs in the hockey. I think they got a good chance at winning that series, actually.
Yeah, it'll be pretty historic for an expansion team, to head
to the finals
Yeah.
their first time, and they could win because I'm pretty sure the Capitals are going to beat the Lightning because they've been beating the crap out of them so far. They have a 2-0 lead, but it would just be so poetic and perfect for them, we're not going to choke this year.
Right.
And then they just pull the epic choke.
Ugh.
But for history's sake, because the other guys are like, well, but we've never, been a team before.
Right.
And the Capitals are just all pissed off because they lost. And it would kind of be hilarious, but I don't know. I think the Capitals they have a good chance at winning the whole thing.
Well, it's been an interesting postseason thus far, and I'm sure it's going to shape up to be even more interesting as time goes on.
That's true. So that's sports, and now on to weather. I don't know. If I were to guess, it's about 60 degrees outside, or maybe 70.
And I'm
Who knows?
hoping it doesn't rain anymore, because it's been raining for like 3 days.
There's a 50% chance of rain tonight because it either will or it won't.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. So welcome to episode 11 of the podcast show known as Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm not Robert.
And I'm not Alex.
And so we've got some stuff to talk about, some trailers.
Couple trailers.
Some news and stuff, some casting, and other things. So let's hop to it.
We got ourselves the first trailer for Mile 22. This is Peter Berg's action thriller starring Marky Mark, John Malkovich, Lauren Cohan, Iko Uwais, and Ronda Rousey, no less. This movie's coming out on August 3rd of this year. And it follows an elite American intelligence officer, played by Marky Mark, of course, who tries to secretly move a police officer with sensitive information out of a foreign country. What did you think of this trailer?
Well, this is a definite shut up and take my money trailer. And I'm not going to lie. I was super worried because I was, let's say very, very cautiously optimistic because the cast for this sounds like a joke. Mm-hmm. It sounds like something like I'd make up.
It sounds like, what movie is this?
Yeah, what movie is this? Iko Uwais and Ronda Rousey and John Malkovich.
And Marky Mark.
And Marky Mark, all together in a movie. Like, that's so ridiculous to me, and that's such a perfect cast for this type of movie.
Right.
That, I'm surprised it came together at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that this trailer just... right off the bat, I was like, okay, I like what's going on. And then when Iko Uwais got down business and was beating people's asses and when he did the flip off the wall, I'm like, yep, I'm in. I'm not watching the rest of this trailer. We got some raid style action with Peter Berg directing. That sounds perfect on paper, and I'm very glad that this trailer looks good.
You know what's weird is it's a really interesting testament to how versatile of a director Peter Berg really is, and like how like low key and unsung he is. Because he just came from a movie I really enjoyed, which is Patriots Day, which is also starring Mark Wahlberg, but not this movie at all in terms of tone, in terms of subject matter.
So that one's just a tad more serious than this movie.
And this is just like, there's like one-liners and crazy action scenes and explosions and
Ronda Rousey.
And it's a different animal. Yet Peter Berg looks like I haven't seen this yet, but it looks like it's going to be fun. It looks like he pulled off a really interesting and fun little homage to a movie called 16 Blocks. Right. I don't know if you remember that with Mos Def and Bruce Willis. Kind of similar premise.
Yeah, the premise that we had read when we'd first heard news of this about a month or two ago. I definitely thought 16 Blocks, because it's the similar thing about getting this guy who's got some info to this location without dying or whatever. Yeah.
And there's like a specific... Like, the title is the specific measurement of distance. Like, we gotta go 16 blocks / 22 miles. Like, it's got a really solid premise, and I love the cast. I mean, love John Malkovich as the boss of any team, let alone a team of assassins.
Yeah. John Malkovich, after all, is the greatest actor of our time.
He sure is.
So there's that. But this is also really great because, we bitch nonstop on here about sequels and prequels and all that shit, even though we're huge hypocrites because we pick and choose the ones we like. But this is an original movie, and it's just an original action movie that doesn't look like a generic sort of direct-to-video movie, like where it'll have, we're a bunch of commandos, and you may have seen some of these guys on TV.
Right.
And it just feels bad and like very sound-stagey and cheap. It's like a regular action movie with a decent budget.
Yeah, and if the trailer's any indication, it looks like it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I have high hopes for this to, again, along with a couple other things we've mentioned on here. I can't remember exactly what it was, but like John Wick and a couple other series that we had talked about previously, to just bring back a little more, like, balance it out a little more. So there's just a few more original movies each year, and this looks very promising.
All right, so moving on. We got some more casting news to talk about this week. We have Timothy Olyphant joining Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, that was one of the casting news pieces from this particular project, but there were some other ones. So we already knew that Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt were going to be in this film, but it also is confirmed now. Margot Robbie is going to be in it as Sharon Tate. Burt Reynolds has joined the cast. Kurt Russell, Tim Roth, and Michael Madsen, a bunch of Tarantino regulars, have also joined this cast. There's no information as to who Timothy Olyphant is playing, but it begs the question, is he going to be playing Charles Manson? And if not, who is? Or is he even in this movie? Or do you care about this movie?
It's weird, because true crime stuff interests me. I guess I kind of care about this movie. I just, I don't know. I feel like this is one of those things because with Tarantino, he's a take or leave guy for me.
Right.
He's not like, oh, I'm there, or oh, fuck that. I have to see a trailer to really know. And there's been a number of documentaries and movies about this subject matter already.
Right.
So I think maybe that's it, that we've kind of heard all the crazy stuff about him. But again, there's always more to the story. So I guess with Timothy Olyphant, I don't really know him very well at all.
Well, you've seen Hitman.
Yes. Oh, okay. I was like, he's definitely been in something that like was not super memorable.
No.
I mean, to those movies' credits, I've seen both of them. The action scenes are great.
Yeah.
I mean, everything else is kind of crappy, but, they're watchable. They're like, I'd say they're like 2.5s out of 5.
Yeah.
I I mean, they're very bad. They're soft 2.5.
Right.
But the action's very watchable. So if he's, what's his face? If he's Manson, sure.
He was also the bad guy in Live Free or Die Hard. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Okay, see, I knew he had been in other stuff that I've seen.
He's got some stuff. He's not, like, necessarily a household name.
Is he that guy, perhaps? He
Maybe
could be.
little. Because I know he's been in a lot of TV stuff. Like, he was in Deadwood and, like,
Right.
Justified
Oh, yeah.
and, like, all those shows that I have sadly not seen. I heard Deadwood's good, but I haven't watched it.
But it's a TV show, so it's probably boring for a lot of it.
It might be. Who knows? But...
Well, but once you get to season 16, boy, does the action pick up, brah.
And meanwhile, your kids have moved off to college, and you know one of them is already has kids of their own, and you're about to die, and you're in season 16, and it's okay.
Yeah, it finally got good.
Yeah,
I missed a lot of graduations and other events just to watch this show, just to see it get good. But it got there.
Right.
It took 16 seasons, but it did it.
finally paid off. But
All right, so that was a bit of a
detour.
A detour.
That's okay.
In case you guys couldn't tell, we're not exactly TV experts when it comes to the hour-long serial format.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, I think he could easily be Manson or whatever, and it seems relatively imminent, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, who else has been in talks for this movie?
Well, I know Tom Cruise was in talks. I don't know if he still is. I don't think he's definitely hasn't been confirmed, and I haven't heard any movement on that either.
I was going to say, how could they afford that? This cast must be expensive, by the way.
This is insane. Like, you have Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, which are two of the, like, leading men.
Yeah, they're A-list.
They're just,
Margot Robbie's blown up.
Yeah, you have other people, like, no slouch actors like Burt Reynolds and Kurt Russell.
Right.
And some kind of that guys in the forms of Tim Roth and Michael Madsen, but I'd imagine it's, this cast is probably still not even filled out because, this seems to be like a hearkening back to Pulp Fiction is what I'm hearing, and if that cast is any indication, it's pretty massive, and there's a lot of cameos and small roles and all that from people like, Christopher Walken's in there,
right,
and like a bunch of stuff. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with this. I'm interested in it.
Yeah, it's on my radar. I'm just not so sure if I'm going to end up seeing it.
Right. It sounds like a weird... So it's about like Leonardo DiCaprio plays Rick Dalton, who's like a washed-up Western TV star who's struggling to stay relevant in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to start a TV show with his friend Cliff Booth, who is also a stunt double. Mm-hmm. And like they just so happen, or I think Leonardo DiCaprio he just so happens to live next door to Sharon Tate.
Right.
So it's like... Is this going to be like a weird, like, Charles Manson version of, like, The Life of Brian?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it going to be... Yeah, that's my other question is how revisionist will it be? How truthful will it be? Who knows? Mm-hmm. But I guess we will eventually find out.
Yes.
So moving along, we have a new trailer, or a teaser trailer, rather, for the Predator remake. Whoop-de-doo.
Is it a remake or a sequel?
I don't know. See, I don't know. Whatever it is, it looks not very impressive, and people could say, well, it's just the teaser. It's like, well, yeah, you're supposed to pique my interest. Interest not piqued.
Yeah, it hasn't really done that for me either.
It doesn't look like it's really added anything to the Predator idea. And I almost think Predator is sort of one of the worst franchises to make a franchise, because the whole idea is, whoa, this thing is really crazy, and it's like killing all my men in the jungle. It's like, how am I ever going to beat this thing? And it's like, well, he beat him, so that's that. Mm-hmm. So, like, I guess it's the fact that he's so formidable. Like, what are they going to do? But this time, he's even more invisible.
Yeah. This is kind of like, this franchise in particular kind of followed a weird Jurassic Park route, where, like, the first part is it's just a survival story, and then part 2 is... Or one of the sequels for Jurassic Park, I don't know if it was 2 or 3, it was like, well, now he's in the city. Or it's like, now the dinosaurs are in the city.
Was that 2?
I don't even know.
Wait, wasn't it the end of the first one?
No, they fly off in the helicopter in 1. It's either 2 or 3. I think it's 2.
I can't remember. It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 and 3 are kind of like, they're kind of like Dead Man's Chest and At World's End, where I'm like, I don't know which is which.
Hey, man, I like 2 and 3.
Of Pirates? Or of
No.
Jurassic Park?
No, God, no, not Pirates of the Jurassic
Oh
Park.
yeah, I mean they're watchable and fun, but
Yeah, they're fine.
Predator has had not as much luck as Predator 2 is. Oh, Gary Busey's in it.
Yeah, it's got Gary Busey. And is that the one where at the beginning there's a big shootout and the guy like reaches into a garbage vat like full of cocaine and just like shoves it in his face?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, see that part was pretty ridiculous, and I'm kind of watching this like, is that what people do when they're in shootouts?
Yeah.
Is that what these guys do?
But for sure, yeah, no, definitely that I've seen it. It happens all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but
Tony Montana would agree with that guy.
well, I mean that happens how many times in Scarface? You can make a drinking game of Coke.
Yeah.
But no, for back to the Jurassic Park comparison, I think the thing we can say about both Jurassic Park and Predator is that none of the sequels have been as good as the original. It's just that's one of those franchises. These are two franchises where that's just always been the case, and that's what worries me about this.
And again, that's harkens back to what I was saying. You know, we got these dinosaurs. What could go wrong? And it's like, well, they escape, and then they kill and eat people and cause chaos. And this is kind of, oh, you know, what could go wrong? It's like, well, a lot of things, and we've discussed this in a few movies already. Mm-hmm. I don't know. This just, it looks like it's really not adding anything, and I guess I should wait for the extra trailer, but I've been vehemently digging my heels, not interested in this.
Yeah, I've been also kind of this trailer didn't really do much for me. Again, there's no like smoking gun where I'm like, nope. You know, there's nothing in it where I'm like, that doesn't look good. It's just there's not enough in this that not enough in this that really curled my mustache, as they say.
Right. It's just there's nothing in here of substance where you're like, oh, that's an interesting new take on this.
Right.
It's like, there's a predator. No, and then Olivia Munn's like, but sciencey stuff, and it's like, yeah, okay, this is.
And there's a kid. You don't want the kid to die, right?
Yeah, and the kid, I think he's like an idiot savant or something.
I have no idea.
I heard he's like supposed to be smart in some way.
Okay.
And he's like a key to stopping the predator. Who cares? Anyway, moving on to things other than that. The trailer for Joe Pera Talks With You on Adult Swim.
Yes.
So Joe Pera, his new show's coming out soon. Looks pretty similar to his MTV digital shorts.
Yes.
Such as the one where he goes to the pancake supper for a fire station or
some kind of firehouse.
Yeah, firehouse potluck charity thing.
Yeah, and he's a critic. It's the pancake breakfast critic.
Right.
And it's really funny. There's only 3 episodes of that, but the first one's really the only one you're going to watch because they had a co-host for him in 2 and 3, and the co-host isn't very good. But anyway, this looks pretty funny.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like Joe Pera's version of, like, Check It Out. Because, each episode is about a specific subject.
Right.
But with the more Joe Pera-isms. And obviously, if you guys don't know who Joe Pera is, just type in Joe Pera on YouTube and have a day of it. Because there's a lot of Joe Pera content out there.
Joe Pera he's done a bunch of different things. He's sort of like a host, stand-up comedian type. But his delivery is so unique because he's mastered the art of awkwardness, which I think it's like amazing. We thought that's just how he really is.
Yeah,
and it turns out it's partly a character.
Yeah.
So he's just like sort of exaggerating his quirks in real life to a point where it's just super uncomfortable but sort of hilarious.
Right.
So I'm very excited to see his new show, and I'm looking forward to it. Next up, we got the new behind-the-scenes look, or first look, at the upcoming Russo Brothers produced series of the adaptation for Deadly Class.
Yes, we got a trailer for the show, which is going to be on Sci-Fi, premiering next year. I think it looks pretty interesting. Well, I guess let's dive into what it's about. It's an adaptation of the comic, which follows students enrolled at King's Dominion Atelier of the Deadly Arts, a secret high school in San Francisco, as they train to become the next generation of top assassins for crime families across the globe. That seems to be what this show is going to be about. It looks pretty close to that premise. And what do you think about this trailer?
It's it sort of reminds me of an exploitation film from the 70s in a way, and I kind of like that vibe. And I'm hoping that since it's in San Francisco, it'll be one of those things. I've said this before, sometimes where a city feels like another character in the show,
Right.
or in the movie, such as Detroit and It Follows, Chicago and The Fugitive. So I'm hoping that that's present in this. I haven't read the comic, but this sounds like an interesting premise that I can dig, so I will be looking forward to seeing this. I know sci-fi is kind of, yeah. I don't know how else, like they've made some stuff and some of it, a lot of people don't like, but this, I think, could actually kind of be the right home for this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like an NBC or ABC wouldn't do this right.
Yeah, and I think that the Russo brothers show running this, first of all, they have a lot of experience. Some would say they have more experience doing TV than they do movies.
Definitely.
And I think that if past Image Comics television adaptations are of any sort of indication, this might do pretty goddamn well.
I don't know if it'll become a smash hit like Walking Dead.
Right, but it'll be. I think it'll be okay. And I like the trailer. I think it's fun. I like the look of it, and the vibe is interesting. I think someone described it as like Hogwarts, but for killing people and assassins.
Hogwarts for killing people.
Yeah, and that's interesting. My ears prick up when I hear that. I like this trailer. I think it's fun. I'll be interested to see how it, if there'll be any more further trailers down the line, or maybe I'll even tune in for that premiere.
I will definitely be tuning in for this premiere. I'd imagine it'll probably be in the early stages of 2019.
I hope so.
If they've already got footage together, I would think it'd probably be out by maybe March or April next year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll keep an eye to the ground. What the fuck? Ear to the ground for that
Eyes
one.
to the sky.
Eyes to the sky.
Ears to the
ground. Up and down.
Nose in the powder, if you will.
What? No. Yeah. No. That last part will not be happening. But anyway,
yes.
Moving on. What do we got next?
Well, we got some Fast and Furious 9 news. So I know you know that Chris Morgan is the designated screenwriter for Fast and Furious films, at least numerical installments, from fuck ever, since at least
since Tokyo Drift on, he's written all of them.
Well, it seems that in Fast and Furious 9 that will not be the case.
Oh, that's a shame.
We have a new screenwriter in the form of Daniel Casey, and he's going to end up writing Fast and Furious 9. But fear not, Chris Morgan will be writing the Hobbs and Shaw team-up film.
Right, I heard that, and I thought that makes sense, and I'm glad he's writing Hobbs and Shaw. And honestly, at this point, I'm a little more interested in that than 9.
Yeah.
Since, again, we've discussed this. They keep making them and they're still good.
Yeah.
But it's gotta, there's no way, this is it. Unless they do monster trucks, 9 can't be better.
Yeah. Some more information on Daniel Casey. He recently had a film called Kin come out, which I know nothing about. But some more information, actually, is according to the Hollywood Reporter report that this story broke in. I guess the script, he had a script called The Heavy, which got the attention of Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams, and the script is described as, quote, a subversive superhero movie. That's all it was described as. It's being kept under wraps.
So it's another Deadpool of sorts.
Perhaps, but I guess that was the script that helped Paramount.
All right, yeah.
Nab him.
No, I heard about that, and that kind of alleviated some of my worry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, though. Do you think 9 will be good?
I hope so.
Well, Justin Lin's returning to direct.
That should be good. I liked... Gary
F. graded 8.
And then, did Justin Lin do 6?
I don't know.
Because 7 was James Wan, right? Because that was the one where Paul Walker passed away.
Right. So I think Justin Lin did a bunch of them.
Yeah, I know he did 1, right? Oh no, that was a guy who did freaking what's it called? Triple X.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was the same guy. His name is Rob Cohen.
Oh right, director of such hits as Hurricane Heist. Am I correct?
I think so, yeah. I'm trying to black out that film from my memory, but I do know he also directed Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But anyway, we're off track here.
Yeah.
The numerical Fast and Furious movies. I'm excited for 9. I'm glad that Justin Lin's back. It's good to see him return to form, and it's not even bad that he didn't return to form, because I like Star Trek Beyond also.
Yeah, so I think the fact that we may have lost the regular writer is a little made up for in the fact that Justin Lin's returning.
Right.
But then again, Gary F. Gray would have been fine as well, because 8 was also, as we've mentioned, pretty goddamn great.
Yes. Also, I would like to make a correction. Fast and Furious is not owned by Paramount. It's owned by Universal.
Wait, when did you say Paramount?
Like a minute and a half ago. I caught myself.
The hell? No,
I
yeah,
know.
it's obviously Universal, man. That's Universal's big thing right now.
It is universally known
That's Universal.
that Fast and Furious is owned by Universal.
Right. So that's happening. I think 9 will probably be good. Are they doing? Is the plan to do 10?
I don't know.
I think there was a plan to do 10, and I'm just gonna say, let's no pun intended. Let's pump the brakes there at 10.
Yeah.
Let's make that the last one.
Hey, I mean, I was done at 4. I was ready to be like, let's call this a night.
I know, and they just that's the thing. They kept doing it, and you're like, how are they going to make this better? And then in 8, you're like, holy shit, there's a submarine,
Yeah.
a gigantic submarine.
Oh my God, a waterfall of cars
Right.
falling out of a parking garage.
The next thing they have to do is monster trucks.
Or spaceships.
It's like a monster truck's on a space station, and it's like they have to compete in some weird like Running Man-esque game.
Yes.
I don't know where else they can go with this.
I'm down for any of those options, or all of them at once.
Yeah, but I'd say like you've gotten this far and you've made so many good ones. Let's stop it at 10.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to see.
We sure will.
All right, so moving on. We have some more information on the DC TV universe. We have a new television show coming via the DC Universe streaming app. It's going to be a live-action adaptation of Doom Patrol, and this comes courtesy of Greg Berlanti and Jeff Johns. It's got a 13-episode direct-to-series order from Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment. Alex, what are your thoughts on this? Do you have any familiarity with the Doom Patrol arc in DC? How are you feeling?
I've read, I can't remember what it was. I think it was either they're featured heavily in, I think is it like JLA Year One or
something.
There was, okay, I've read a few things about where Doom Patrol is in it. Mm-hmm. Never anything where I've never read their books.
Right.
Like Doom Patrol's comics. But I've read things where they guest star, and I understand their deal. They're sort of like an island of misfit toys of superheroes, because
Right.
it's like the difference is with them, yeah, I had a lab accident, but now my life sucks. Or like, but I'm ugly, or I'm made of metal. Mm-hmm. Like Robot Man and all the odd characters. So I think that'd definitely work in a TV series sort of format, because they're all sort of oddballs, whereas there's no real like leading man or leading lady type character on Doom Patrol, or at least not the way they're depicted in the comics and stuff.
Right.
So I think it'll work well in this TV format, and it sounds like they're just piling on shows in this streaming service.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like, you guys have caught my attention, and if the price is right, I will definitely oblige and buy.
Well, if past DC television series are any indication, this is probably going to be pretty good, especially now that we know that Greg Berlanti's involved, and so's Jeff Johns. I mean, the CW shows, truth be told, I haven't seen a whole lot of them. I need to see more, but people watch them. People love them.
Right. I watched a good chunk of Arrow before it started to get too much for me.
Yeah.
But the seasons that I liked, I was really into it. So hopefully they can carry some of that momentum over to this streaming service and all the shows they're gonna introduce on it.
Sounds good.
Sure does. All right, next we've got a little more DC news. This time in the animated form. There was a trailer released for Death of Superman, which will be part of a two-parter, because they're gonna follow the arc of the Death of Superman comics, And the second part will be called Reign of the Supermen, which will come out in 2019 of next year. But this is... Wait, so when is this one coming out?
This one's coming out August 7th of this year.
Okay, so this is coming out relatively soon. And despite this being the second time, technically, that they've done this, I'm looking forward to this. And again, they are going out of their way to make this different than the Superman the Animated Series universe version. Mm-hmm. Namely, that I'd mentioned, they're following the arc more closely from the comic, and they're going to introduce the Supermen. So the Cyborg one, Eradicator, I think that's his name, and whatever, the sunglasses guy, Cyborg, Superboy, the Cyborg,
or Hank Henshaw, depending on how
Hank Henshaw, whatever. There's a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. Shit goes wrong. They're like, we need the real one back. These guys suck.
Yeah.
But that'll be interesting to see in the animated form. And if it's anything like what was it, Dark Knight
Returns?
Yes, if it's anything like that, I'm so on board, because that's up there in my favorite DC animated movies.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
And it's cool that they're featuring Justice League a lot in this, because I guess this is part of they started like a DC... their animation's kind of confusing, because they've got a number of universes at once.
Yeah.
But this seems to be their mainstay animated universe, or at least it seems that way. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, no, me too. It's an interesting arc that I need to revisit in some form, and this will mark a great chance for me to do so. So I'll be looking forward to popping that in my old DVD player once it comes out in August.
All right, so that'll do it for the news today. All right, now we move on to the review portion. It's going to be short this time. There wasn't a lot out in theaters. However, a couple weeks ago, I did see Batman Ninja.
Really?
Yep, sure did.
Huh.
It was interesting, and before moving forward, it is a 2 out of 2 bombs.
Oh, really?
It is. And to explain to our listeners, when watching a B movie, I think it's almost unfair to rate it out of a traditional scale, such as a 1 through 10 scale or 1 through 5. So instead, what we do is it's 1 or 2 out of 2 bombs. In reference to a box office bomb. Why? Because it's simply, there's 2 types of bad movies. There's bad movies that just suck. That'd be 1 out of 2 bombs. But sometimes something just strikes a chord with you, even though it's terrible. That's 2 out of 2 bombs. So indeed, this was one.
Wow, I'm surprised. Well, I guess what about it really? I guess what was the point in this watch for you where you really realized that you were watching a truly bad movie?
I think it was the point where, okay, so it starts off Gorilla Grodd and Batman are fighting, and he's like, I've got a time machine, and they sends them all back in time.
Okay.
Because Grodd's gonna do what Grodd's gonna do. Mm-hmm. And there's a part where Batman's like, shit, what do I do? I'm clearly in, it's like, where am I? And it's like, gee, I don't know. Like, not in America. It's like, well, according to the kanji and the hiragana and katakana I'm seeing, it's like, I wonder. So it's like, you're obviously in Japan, but then these guys in like Joker henchmen in samurai gear come up to him, start fighting him, and he beats all their asses, and they like gets the last guy alive. He's like, who sent you? And he's like wearing clearly Joker like mask and stuff. It's like, who do you think sent you? It's like, at that point, I'm like, wow, so Batman's a moron in this. So he's like some world's greatest detective.
Nice.
And there's a couple other things, like he does a couple like boneheaded things. Like there's some big point later in the movie where it's like, no, I think we can trust so-and-so. And it's like Deathstroke or someone. Shit, I can't remember, but there's like, god damn it, it's either Deathstroke or Grodd, one of the two. It's like, I'll follow through on his word, and it's like, what? It's like, why, you moron? It's like, well, I've had no reason to trust you so far. There's just like a lot of things like that. But because it was so well executed and just all its glorious weirdness, I was willing to forgive it.
Well, what was I was gonna say, what is the 2 out of 2 bombs, like what are the enjoyable bad things in this? Because the stuff you're mentioning, it sounds just like shitty plotting and bad writing, but like what are some of the like unequivocally enjoyably shitty things?
I would say definitely the part. See, then a lot of shit happens at the end.
Yeah.
Like, basically, everyone gets in a mecha something, and they
Okay.
all fight.
Of course.
But, like, one of them, it was like bats fly together to form a mecha.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot. Damien, or
Damian Wayne.
yeah, Damian Wayne. Here's like enjoyable shitty. He's like best friends with like a little monkey,
Okay.
and then a bunch of like hundreds of monkeys form this like mecha monkey.
Okay.
It's like the most ridiculous thing. I'm not joking. Like, that happens. At one point, it's just like, monkeys assemble. They all just get together. And like,
Alright.
this characterization of Joker was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah?
Well, there's a part where like they're fighting, and he's on like the 45th story of something, and it just blows out one of those big party blower things, and he just like goes like wee down a slide on it, and it's just like this is kind of great because it's frankly it's better than Jared Leto's Joker.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just like there's so much ridiculous shit in this. And the character designs are actually really good because they're done by the guy who did Afro Samurai,
Oh, yeah.
which I haven't seen the whole thing of. I've seen about, it's like a 13. I don't know how long it
Yeah.
is, but I saw about half a dozen episodes, and that show's real cool.
I was gonna say,
that-
what
yeah.
what was some of your favorite like Western to Eastern Batman character like transformations when they went to feudal Japan?
Well, Batman's was obviously cool, and I thought the Sumo Bane was very fitting.
Yeah.
I also like the Red Hood. He had that sort of, that like, it's almost like a bird cage thing on his head.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like what Zatoichi would wear.
Right.
And it's like, oh, that's kind of like the weird version of his helmet.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of neat stuff there. There's some characters where there wasn't a lot of change.
Okay.
Like Catwoman, I guess they're like, well, we can only do so much.
Okay.
But she mostly looked the same.
What did Deathstroke look like?
Deathstroke, he sort of looked like it was cool. It was like a cross between a pirate and a ninja. Which,
Okay.
you know, a pirate at the time could be a mercenary. Mm-hmm. So it sort of was fitting. And I liked Grodd's little, like, you know, they're like sort of like little like pieces of bamboo that make the little like arch sort of. They're not an arch, but they're like fanned out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that looked pretty neat. So he's like a emperor sort of guy.
Okay.
And Ivy had a pretty cool design, which I thought it was good. She's gonna suffer a similar fate with Catwoman, not really have much of one, but she definitely had some samurai armor. And the Robins, whichever the hell ones, like
Red Robin.
Red Robin and
Yum.
yeah, whatever. They kind of had more of like a classic ninja look.
Okay.
One of them kind of reminded me of. Do you remember that N64 game with the ninjas? It was like Ninja Golan something.
Yeah. I remember seeing the cover in Blockbuster.
Mystic Ninja.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
it. Anyway, yeah. But to circle back to something, I remembered the part I was talking about. Like, this guy's world's greatest detective. And you know how, like, Joker poisons everyone with Joker gas and stuff.
Right.
So there are these two, There are these two, like, villagers. And Red Hood or Nightwing, one of them snaps at him and is like, they're just Joker and Harley in disguise. And like, what? We don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, it's gotta be them. And Batman's like, no, we should trust them. Or it's like, it's even worse than that. It's like, I think Batman knows it's them, but somehow, like, they've been changed because of the time warp. I don't know. Something happens where it's like, these people are clearly Joker and Harley and can't be trusted, and Batman's like, no, it's fine. And then it turns out it was them because they took this poison stuff so that they would convince themselves that they weren't Joker and Harley, and then once it wore off, they'd be like back to being Joker and Harley.
Of course.
Yeah, right? Like, obviously, but like, it was some serious, like, method acting shit.
Jesus.
But I don't know what, it was like something really goofy like that. But either way, the situation was Batman was just being a moron. And that's that's something that's like shitty plot, but at the same time that made it enjoyable because it's like, this is so silly.
Well,
And I guess the other thing is, like, it's Batman Ninja, so like
right.
It's not in any sort of canon. And
No,
it's not.
it's supposed to be kind of outlandish.
It's yeah. That's the thing is like I will applaud this for like being a different take on it and doing it really well. Like I also really like the Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good, but that was like actually good.
Yeah, no.
This was just, it was silly, but it kind of fit.
How was the voice acting?
I saw the English version. I kind of want to see the Japanese version, but the voice acting was fine. I really liked it. I thought the guy who did Joker particularly was enjoyable. And I believe it was Tara Strong yeah, okay. She was fine as Harley. Everyone was pretty good and fit their character. No one like super standout other than Joker and Grodd.
Okay, and how was the animation overall, I guess, comparatively to other recent DC animated things?
That's a tough comparison. I liked this better than the latest Suicide Squad one.
Okay.
Hell to Pay. I mean, but this again, we're talking 2 out of 2 bombs. Suicide Squad, the latest Suicide Squad one, I rated on a traditional scale. I'd say it's about a 3-ish. It was sort of a weaker one. But this was, I don't know, I'd say it was a worthy endeavor just for being so different. And also, I kind of have a bias to like samurai stuff and ninjas. But it's basically everything cool about, feudal Japan and then just add Batman. So it's just, it was an interesting experiment, I guess you could say. And I kind of thought, I would like to see more stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing it did make me realize is I like these different retellings. It's like, because we've talked about this with any number of, movies or TV series. When you're doing something that's kind of been done before, you have to say, but what makes it different this time? Mm-hmm. And this, it's really apparent and obvious. But it was kind of nice how they sort of threw in mechs for no reason. Like, yeah, let's just have giant robots too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean...
I mean, part of that's because Grodd... It's weird. Like, Grodd goes back in time, but has some modern stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing Batman is like, I don't have my weapons or whatever. But he, like, I think... But then they make robots. It's like, so you did have modern stuff. What's going on here?
So, overall, you enjoyed it. Sounds like, but for different reasons than you expected.
Oh, yeah, because, like, I expected it to maybe be tonally more serious, but, like, the monkeys, for instance, like, I was laughing out loud at it when I first saw it, so, like, it didn't piss me off. I was enjoying it. And you know what the telltale sign of a 2 out of 2 bombs is? There's not an instant where I was at all bored or wanting anything to move along. Everything, like, the pacing was actually kind of perfect. And I guess that's what makes it a 2 out of 2 bombs versus like a regular 1 out of 5 or 2 out of 5 or whatever. I was having too much fun with this, even though it's so bad, like some of the story stuff. But they made up for it with the effort. Like that's where things come in, is because I hate when I'll see something bad and I'm like, I feel like they're just going through the motions. It's like another Batman thing that I'd give 2 out of 2 bombs is like Batman and Robin. It's terrible and the story's so stupid, but like, god damn it, do they try hard?
Right.
It's a production. They give you a show. You know what I'm saying? Like, they put on a show, they make something that it's a spectacle, and maybe it's like not a good one, but
it's not something you'll soon forget.
Exactly. This is like it's not a, how do I put it? It's just crazy.
Yeah. Well,
and sometimes nonsensical things, they capture your hearts and imaginations and all that.
Well, it definitely sounds like this one didn't. I'm regretting having not watched it yet. I'm gonna have to go check it out.
Oh, I highly recommend this. Make no mistake, like all the stuff that's like stupid and wrong with it, it just enhances it, and like in a weird way, it almost feels right. Like when Batman's like, it's like, who did this, or like, no, we should trust him this time, or like whatever dumb things he does. It's just like it's just so fucking funny.
World's greatest detective, my ass.
That's what I said while I was watching. I was like, so much for the world's greatest detective. It's like, it's fun to talk shit at the screen.
Right.
Like, it's not like you're like actually upset. You're like, wow. Like, because it's like, if he's that dumb, boy, is he in for a surprise.
Jesus.
It's like when they reveal that it's like really Harley and Joker after they like the poison wears off or whatever. You're like, God, man. It's almost like watching someone score on their own net in like soccer or like hockey. You're like, how can I, like, even if it's your team, you're like, wow, how did that happen? So yes, would recommend, would watch again. Perfect score. 2 out of 2 bombs.
Wow.
And now we move on to our second iteration of our game called Guess the Movie Based on the Obscure Quote. Self-explanatory. Robert, would you like to go first?
Yes.
All right, Robert, your first quote is, "Don't you know how to knock, Flemwad?"
That sounds like a quote from a 90s family movie.
It is.
Fuck.
Are you like...
Is it Home Alone 2?
Oh my god, you idiot. No, it's the first one.
Oh, god damn it.
I thought you were... I thought...
That's gotta be Buzz.
Yeah, it is.
Damn it.
That's the
Don't
first
you know
one.
how to knock, Flemwad?
You were not awarded the points. I'm
Son
sorry.
of a bitch.
Yeah.
All right.
But you were close.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, here's a quote for you.
Lay it on me. What do you got?
"Would you have dinner with me? I was just about to myself. You know, nothing special, just some sandwiches and milk. I don't set a fancy table, but the kitchen's awful homey."
Is this... damn it. I want to... Is it Nightcrawler?
No, it's Psycho. I don't know why that quote stuck with me so much, because it's like, sandwiches and milk. It's like, what? Like, maybe PB&J, but like, the fuck, Norman Bates?
Well, it's because, like, you have milk when you're, like, 10. He's, like, you know...
He's clearly like a 30-year-old dude or 25-year-old
But
man.
that's what I mean, is he's, like, stuck in that mode, man.
It's just so weird.
Yeah, he's a weirdo. That's, like, a weird guy. That's why I thought Lou Bloom. I'm like, God, that's a weirdo thing to say.
Yeah. Ugh.
But I realized that's, like, Lou Bloom isn't... He's not that outwardly weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, you just got to talk to him a little more to realize he's a creeper. Like...
Oh, yeah.
What's his name?
You gotta...
Bates, you realize it right away.
Yeah, you gotta get through a couple conversations with Lou Bloom to catch on the...
catch...
subtle, little things.
Yeah. All right. So your next quote is, Jim never has a second cup of coffee at home.
Oh.
Gonna need an answer. Clock is ticking.
Groundhog Day. I don't know.
Close, but it was actually Airplane. Because she says it in her head.
Yeah.
Right?
God damn it.
Because she's just like, would you like another cup of coffee? Sure. And then she says it in her...
has a cup of second cup of... God, that's a movie I've gone far too long without seeing in a long time.
You know, it's weird that you mention it. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it as well. Classic, though.
Oh, yeah.
That was hard to find any, like, remotely obscure lines, just because when I was looking through, I'm like, everyone knows that line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was going to use the, like, look, Betty, we don't need your shit about the loading zone. like, that would have been too obvious.
And Leon's getting larger.
Yeah. All right. Man. Okay, what you got?
All right. If it makes you feel any better, I forgot my reading glasses.
Oh. Home Alone. Oh, fuck. See, I'm having the same problem. This is... Oh, is it 1 or 2? 1 or 2. I'm going to go with... Oh, Jesus Christ. 2?
It's Home Alone 1.
Jesus Christ.
See,
wow.
You freaked me out a little because I was like, oh no, he went to Home Alone also.
No, I just know that by heart because I watched both of those movies every year.
Good old Uncle Frank.
Well, see, that's the problem. Like, I've seen both those movies. I watch both of them annually, at least.
Yeah. Same.
But it's like some of the dialogue's hard to separate which one.
Oh, yeah.
It's like similar to Jurassic Park. Like, you forget which dinosaur did what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uncle Frank, is this a joke?
Well, that's number 1. Yeah.
God. All right.
Look what you did, you little jerk. Classic. All right, so whose go is it?
Yours.
Okay. Or I'm asking.
Yes, you were asking.
Okay, here's this one. This one's no joke. This is a hard one.
Uh-oh.
Help, police, murder.
Oh, that's wait a second. That is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
God damn it.
See, now I could have said Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That is incorrect.
Yeah,
that is the
incorrect.
Tim Burton film.
Yeah.
But I remember that. Do so. Is that the Augustus Gloop death?
Yeah, it's like
Or death?
help, police, murder.
Aren't you going to do something? Help, police, murder.
And then when what's her name? The annoying chick, Veruca Salts, and it's like, no, wait, don't.
No, stop, come back.
yeah, no, stop. I never realized how sardonic those lines are. Like, I never caught those when I was a kid at all.
That is one of those movies where it's you
watch it
especially
again and you're like, wow, this movie is terrible.
But not only that, you realize, holy shit, this entire movie rests on Gene Wilder's shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
As an actor. Like, if this were
He's
anybody
so-
else,
yeah.
this movie would suck.
And you realize, like Charlie is such a little bitch. You just realize, like, I hate him. He sucks.
Yeah.
And why
Oh
are
my
there
God.
4 of them sleeping in a bed together?
Yeah, I don't remember that. I remember
like,
we read
well,
the
gee,
Roald Dahl book,
yeah.
and that shit was not. I don't know if that was
Yeah.
it.
It's like, well, both sides of your family are poor, so why don't we just live together? Hell, why don't we sleep in the same bed together?
Wasn't that a Family Guy joke? Like, no, I don't want to go back in that bed with all those old people.
Sounds like it. All right, your turn. Or,
All right.
Or rather, you're reading.
Yes. Try the veal. It's the best in the city.
God damn it. That is, like, so generic. I don't know.
That's from The Godfather.
Ugh.
Remember Salazzo? Remember,
No,
him and Salazzo are sitting down with the police captain, and the police captain's like, "What do they got here with this fine establishment?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Try the veal. It's the best in the city." Meanwhile, Michael's all like brooding and shit because he's like about to smoke these 2 fools.
Dude, I don't remember. I gotta be honest, like, I've seen that movie a bunch of times. I just...
It's one of those movies you watch on like holidays or like you watch like the last third of on a holiday.
Yeah.
But you've definitely seen it once
No, but
all
it's
the way
like,
through.
It's a great movie, obviously. It's just, I only remember the super obvious lines.
Right.
Like, it's nothing, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Yeah, like shit like that. I'd never remember that's not like well, I was gonna say Home Alone, but I clearly don't remember that either.
Hey, we
both
fooled me.
We fooled each other.
The Home Alone, it's God.
I feel I feel like a fraud because I fancy myself as a Home Alone aficionado.
I've been going throughout life claiming to be a Home Alone aficionado
I
as
don't
well,
know.
and now I have
I
to
think-
revoke that whole fucking
I think we
title.
both do. Yeah.
Fuck. All right.
God.
Well, your turn to read. That is.
All right. Okay. According to the map, we've only gone 4 inches.
Oh fuck. Oh man, I know that. I know this movie. 4 inches. God damn it. Is that from Toy Story?
No, Dumb and Dumber.
Oh fuck, that's right. I knew I heard that.
Well, the clue is like,
Expect the Rockies to
Yeah.
be a little rockier than
yeah, that John Denver's full of shit, man. Yeah.
God damn it. I was watching that the other day too. The first half of it.
Oh, how dare you watch only a half?
I know. I had to go get dinner. I was so pissed.
That always happens. Like, sometimes they'll happen for like a movie I've been trying to see forever, and it just
It's finally on.
It
and then you
keeps
got
getting
some
interrupted.
You got
yeah.
some shit to do.
Yeah.
God damn it.
All
right.
right. What do you got?
Here we go. That son of a bitch would freeze up in the middle of summer on the equator.
Is this a Christmas story?
It sure is a Christmas
Yes.
story. You're on the board.
Yes.
Good old,
because that's the dad, right?
Yeah, good old, the old man.
Because he's talking about the car.
Yeah, it was either the car or the furnace.
Or so, I knew it was like that's like one of his types
His
of
go-to
one of his
stuff.
lines. Yeah. All right. This one might be a toss or a layup.
Okay.
Why the fuck would I want to blow up a Chick-fil-A? It's fucking delicious.
Observe and report.
Yep, you got that.
My dick is brown, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
God damn it.
think that-
Criminally underrated.
Right? I think that's probably like in my top 10 comedies of that decade.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, in that decade, what am I
It
talking
might be in the
about?
top 5 for
Top
me in that
five
decade.
in that, because that was 2008 or 9.
Around there, yeah.
I know it was not 2010 or on.
I know for me, like, in that decade, it'd probably be, like, Superbad, Pineapple Express, that for sure.
I
A
think
couple others.
I would rank Observe and Report over Pineapple Express.
Yeah, it's close for me. I know Superbad is probably one of my favorite ones.
It's just,
but,
it's so wrong.
it's so obscenely, like, are they doing this? But it's like, oh, it's hilarious. Like, it's
That's
just funny.
Jody Hill, man. The magic of Jody Hill.
He is a true pioneer.
He's a genius. All right, what you got?
Obviously, we don't want you doing anything with your hands other than holding on for dear life. This is a weird throwaway line from a fantastic movie.
Tommy Boy?
And it's from The Dark Knight. It's from the very first opening scene where they're robbing the bank, and the dude's he's rigging the smoke grenades up in their hands.
I would have never that's like, well, kudos on that one, because that is definitely obscure. Fits the bill for the game.
We might be revisiting that scene, by the way, in a discussion down the road in this episode.
Oh, shit. Yeah, definitely. Wow. I didn't even have that on the list when I made the discussion list, but yes. For sure. Okay. Here's your next one. It's the same old story. Boy finds girl. Boy loses girl. Girl finds boy. Boy forgets girl. Boy remembers girl. Girl dies in tragic blimp accident over the Orange Bowl on New Year's Day.
God damn it. I'm just gonna plug a movie here because I like it. Big Fat Liar.
No, I've never seen that, and I never will.
You need more Paul Giamatti in your life, especially in the blue form.
No, I remember the trailer. I thought that looked lame, and I was convinced everyone else thought it'd be stupid too, because I was like 14 at the time.
Oh, it's bad, but
everyone was like, it was so funny. I'm like, wait, what?
No, it's not.
I was having a Mugatu moment when everyone at school was talking about how they liked it. I'm like, no way.
It's existentially funny. I like going to bed knowing that Paul Giamatti put that much effort into a Nickelodeon film. But anyway, the answer was
Naked Gun.
Oh fuck, God, yeah. There's another one that's the Naked Gun and Airplane are two movies I need to see. Like I need to see them at least once a year, and I haven't yet.
That's, you know what, you're right. That should be a once a year movie at least. All right, what is your next one?
I like to say that if you're seeing me, you're having the worst day of your life.
Jesus Christ. Is this I don't know, Billy Madison?
It's from Nightcrawler.
Oh.
Classic Lou Bloomism.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
poor guy.
I don't remember.
Referring to Bill Paxton, that is.
Oh, right. Yeah, I would never guess that one.
It's a good movie, though.
You've stumped me a few times. I've got.
Are we tied?
I think so.
I don't know. We're gonna have to go back and look because scoring doesn't matter. It's like who's on it anyway.
No. It's a competition. We're definitely counting. It's very important.
This is important.
What
this is what my week's about.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is I'm very petty about these things. Anyway, moving along. It may not be my way, but damn, if there doesn't go one happy family. All right, gang, let's just shoot some tear gas into the diner, and then when the guys come out with the monkey, we'll fuck beans. That was them, wasn't it?
Team America?
No. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh.
It's Will Ferrell. He's like the ranger.
God almighty.
Because he's like, all right, we're just going to tear gas them. It's like, because like they like go in disguise or something. And it's like so obviously them. And he's got the Velcro patch that he pulls off to reveal his badge.
God, I gotta go through I need to go through all of those. Like,
that's really the best one.
Well, like that one, Dogma.
Nah, I'm not a big fan of Dogma.
I gotta go through some of them at least. I haven't seen Mallrats.
Okay, Mallrats is good. That's a good one.
Fuck.
But those are, I guess those are the two that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess people would debate me on Clerks. I don't know.
I haven't seen
Well, I watched part of Clerks and I didn't realize it was like just on that one camera or whatever. I'm like, I'm bored. All right, what do you got?
Where's Pancake's house?
I don't know. I give up.
From Fargo. That's what that one dude, Peter Stormare, him and
I've seen
Steve Buscemi are talking. They're like, "That's the first thing you said to me in 40 miles. You ain't got nothing else to say to me." We're going to the Pancake's house, whatever the hell he's saying.
I don't know. I've only seen that movie like once.
Well, spoilers for anybody listening. That relationship doesn't end well.
Aha.
No, it don't.
All right. Two can play at the
Obscure quote game.
Well, this one's actually... Damn it, this one might be too easy. But here we go. You know, if you stab a man in the dead of winter, steam will rise up from his wounds. Indians believed it was his soul escaping from his body.
Oh, God. I know I've heard this one also. Die Hard 2?
No, it is actually Wayne's World.
Oh, son of a bitch! I
See,
it's like
I
I've
knew
heard
that
of these quotes. I've heard them.
See, I knew that one would trick you up because it sounds like creepy, but it's like what's his name? Ed O'Neill. Mm-hmm. He's like sitting at the counter, and he's just
yeah.
He's just like creeping everyone out, and just
donuts.
Out of the blue. Yeah,
you know,
if you stab a man in the dead of winter, so creepy, but so funny. All right, so do you have one left or no?
I have my last one, and it might be a bit of a layup as well.
All right.
Fuck off, Johnny Utah. Turn my pages, bitch.
Johnny Utah. Oh, this is obviously, what the hell is it called? Point Break.
It's Whiplash.
Oh.
Remember he's yelling at the one dude with the red hair that's like a pretty boy? And because the dude starts giving him shit when he's arguing with J.K. Simmons. Yeah. He's like, fuck you, Johnny Utah. Turn my pages, bitch. I see. I thought it was gonna be a layup because turning the pages would imply like the drum kit and all that, but
nah,
I forgot about the Johnny Utah bit. And
I thought John. I was like, did he really say one of the characters' names?
Oh no!
See, it threw me off. You tricked me.
That was a misdirect.
You done tricked me pretty good. All right. So the total tally is 2 correct answers from you, and 1 correct answer out of me. So while if we were scoring this like a quiz for a school, a classroom, we'd both fail miserably.
Yes.
But your fail would be slightly higher. So if we're grading on a curve, you're setting it.
That's good.
So you win. You win by a 25% guess rate.
That's good for me.
It is.
All right, now moving on to our discussion for this week. The best hooks in movies. What are they? Why are they good? And how can you make them even better? Well, what is a hook? It's the opening scene of a film. We like to call it that in the biz because it hooks the audience in, obviously. I say in the biz like we're some sort of authorities on this whole matter.
That made us sound like huge douches.
That's okay. But regardless,
we're not that cool.
No, we're not. Okay. Regardless, hooks are the opening scenes in films. They're what rope you into the whole crazy adventure that you're about to watch for 2 hours. Starting off with some of the best ones that we can recall, at least in recent memory. Do you remember Mad Max Fury Road's hook?
That's where he's running out of the cave and all that crazy shit's happening. Yeah, it is good.
He's got like I think what it does really perfectly is it provides enough backstory and it gives enough of present and past circumstances for you to be like, all right, cool. It's like all the exposition you need because it has like those flashbacks of like he's seeing like figments of his imagination, like his dead daughter or whatever, or like his wife.
Yeah, I would say that movie in general, it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really... That movie wastes no time doing anything it doesn't need to.
No.
And I think that's why a lot of people liked it so much.
Oh, yeah. I think it really ropes you in with that. It establishes the tone really well of that movie and the pace, too. The next one on this list is one that you fancy quite a bit, and that is the opening of Rush Hour.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what it is about that opening of Rush Hour, but I think it's just Rush Hour in general is I would say one of the most perfectly structured, classic 3-act, 9 sequence or whatever you call it movies.
Yeah.
It's very, very like I guess I don't want to say by the numbers because that implies it's not good. It's more. It's a tightly written script.
Yeah, it's very what's the word? It's very emblematic of like how a movie should be proportioned narratively, or I guess.
I guess I like it too because It's just Jackie Chan, man.
Jackie Chan going to town on a boat, some fools in a cargo
Yeah, it's
dock
the
and all
cargo
that.
area, and he does some cool stunts. And you're like, oh, so he's a cop, and he can do all this crazy shit.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's after that guy. And you're like, fuck, I hope he gets that guy.
The white-haired guy. Or the blonde-haired guy, right?
Juntao or whatever.
The whichever the... Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
the wipe yourself off, you're bleeding guy.
Yeah. Wipe yourself off, you dead guy.
Yeah. Well, no, that'd be Chris Tucker.
That would be Chris Tucker, yeah.
But yeah, I guess I like that. It's classic.
Plus, you got Lalo Schifrin in the background
I think
going to town on...
You know what? I think you're right. I think that's a big part of why that opening is effective. Is the score is so great.
Oh, yeah. And next on the list, we got another fantastic opening scene, which is the scene in Saving Private Ryan, the Normandy landing scene.
Oh man, I forgot that that's the opening scene.
What a way to just start, what a way to just give your audience a crash course in what the fuck your movie's going to be like. Just be
But also, I guess it's also like, it's hard to say this, but I feel like he tried his hardest to recreate the real horrors of war.
And it's very anti-Spielberg, too, you know? It's, very I don't want to say non-cinematic, but, you see movies like another movie on this list eventually, any of the Indiana Jones ones, it's, the violence is very cinematic. At times it even feels, choreographed,
Right.
because of course it is. Because,
Well, it's also like you compare it to older war movies like Sergeant York.
Yeah.
And it's just like, patang, spatang, pow, and the gunshots, just the sound effects are cheesy. And
Yeah,
it's like,
come on, man.
yeah, come on, fellas, we're going to have an adventure. We might even kill a fella.
Let's
too.
charge this hill.
Yeah. It's like, by charge that hill, I mean murder all these guys.
Yeah.
Or it's not murder because it's whatever.
Yeah.
You're not having that weird.
Dispatch all these guys.
Yeah. They're just like, let's get those rascals. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, you mean shoot them.
Yeah, with guns.
Yeah, and there's no mistaking what's going on at the beginning of Saving Private Ryan. At all.
It's
There's-
very unglamorous, gory, disgusting, dirty ass violence, and it's kind of amazing in a really fucked up and kind of educational way.
Yeah, I would say that.
That was one of those scenes they showed us in history class in sophomore year.
Right. That's what I mean. Is it's like trying its hardest to recapture a tremendously horrific yet heroic moment.
Right.
And it's it just kind of rings home a lot of themes of war in general.
Yeah, no.
That appear in movies.
Encapsulates all that pretty perfectly.
Right.
Another movie on this list is a recent film that I thought had a fucking awesome hook. That's The Revenant. Do you remember that opening battle between the Native American people and the Leonardo DiCaprio and the fur trapping company?
That's the one with the crazy tracking shot where all the
It's
it
one
was like,
shot.
It was used as the bulk of the first trailer.
Yeah, and they're all trying to climb into the boat, and dudes
Oh,
are
hell yeah.
falling out of trees and shit.
I remember that because I saw that in the trailer. I'm like, I need to see this movie immediately.
Right.
So I guess it's effective as a teaser trailer hook
Oh,
and
yeah.
a movie hook.
Oh yeah, super good.
The only thing I could see this complaint is like that's a lot of action all at once, and then the movie spreads out its action.
For the rest of it, yeah.
I would say it's similar to like True Romance. You know that movie kind of the action or the violent parts they come in little spurts.
Yeah,
It's not like a shoot 'em up like.
it's not like Natural Born Killers.
No,
Or
it's not like that. It's not like Demolition Man or
or Die Hard.
right. It's not such a it's not action packed.
There's distinct parts of action.
Right.
This is the part where she's fighting James Gandolfini, or this is the end gunfight and stuff like that.
Right, and it's about the tension in between.
Right. The build up.
I think they did good to sort of have a huge moment like that. Mm-hmm. But then you're like, it slows down a bit. Mm-hmm. I mean,
Then we get that bear fight scene.
Oh man, God,
It's good.
just getting mauled.
Oh, it's so good.
It's like, man, you ever read that book, Alexander and the Horrible, Rotten, No Good Day, or whatever it's called? It's like, what's his name? not Fitzpatrick. That's the bad guy. What's his?
Oh, Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Fitzgerald. What the hell is his name?
Oh, the main dude.
Yeah,
Hugh Glass.
Yeah, Hugh Glass and the horrible,
No good,
stinky,
shitty,
sleeping in
pus-filled.
pus-filled
bullshit.
animal carcass.
Cauterizing your wounds with black powder day.
Yeah,
Sun murdering revenge filled day.
yeah. He was not having a good day.
No, he sure wasn't.
And he had a lot like that hook is like, well, this is just the frontier.
Yeah, this is just the start of it all. Wait till he drives a horse off a cliff.
That's actually kind of the crazy part. You're like, this is like probably one of the better parts of this day.
He can actually walk in this scene.
Yeah. This
Without a cane.
This was before a bear was snorting boogers in his face.
Right. Snorting fog into the camera lens.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
That is a good hook, though.
That's good shit.
It's a real good one.
Another one I mentioned already was Raiders of the Lost Ark. Great little scene.
I was going to say, I think that might be the best hook of all time.
It's definitely up there. Well, I think that one, if anything, it does it does its protagonist the best. It builds that protagonist reveal so fucking well till the end of that hook, which is the statue, and all that.
It's like you get everything there is to know about this character. Because, like, the way he looks at that idol and the way he takes his time, it's like he knows a thing or two. So he's not just some jerk just taking this.
The dude's about to pull a gun on him and he whips it out of his hand. We still don't even see his face.
What was that? No, what?
In Raiders of the Lost Ark. Remember in the very beginning? Remember they're walking through the forest and, like, the one dude's with him and he's, like, gonna betray him and he, like, fucking, like, cracks the whip and knocks the gun out of his hand.
Yeah, but I was talking about the boulder.
Oh, well, I mean, I would say that's the same. That's still part of the hook.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Because
right.
you got fucking Alfred Molina, remember?
What? No?
Alfred Molina's the guy, he's the guy that gets impaled by those spikes. He's the guy that runs off and leaves Indy.
Man. Yeah.
Totally him. That's so weird.
Yeah, but I think it's also like, this is such a crazy, good cinematic moment.
Oh, yeah. Especially, well, I mean, like you said, like, leaving the temple is, like, that's an iconic, like, anybody, like, you could go to, like, East Timor and, like, show them that scene and they'd be like, oh, yeah, I know this.
Yeah, I know
like,
this one.
It's such, like, it's so embedded in, like, global cinematic, like, culture. It's just kind of like, we all know what that scene is,
And that's what I mean. And the fact that that's an opening scene, it's kind of crazy. I would almost say, would you say that's the best scene in the movie?
Oh, I don't know. I like a lot of other scenes too. There's some great chase scenes and stuff, and the ending is
right. But that's the thing, though, is that happens a lot. Is sometimes, they'll sort of, like, the best scene will be really early.
Yeah.
Like that. That's like almost. I wouldn't say it's a detractor always, but it's like, man, it's like
we sure haven't lived up to that premise or that opening scene.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a while since I've seen that, truthfully, but at least from what I'm remembering, and I've seen it a bunch of times though, but like that's what I remember. Like I remember there's lots of great scenes, but that's the most memorable one.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard for me also to recall a scene that's as a hook, as a classic, structurally what you'd call the hook that really measures up to that.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's a couple on this list, but to me, that is kind of the pivotal one because you get the world, you get, like you said, it completely shows you who the protagonist is, and in addition to that, it's inventive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the big ass boulder, rolling on. It's cool. It's a cool scene.
It's super cool. I love it.
It's also like, there's conflicts, man versus man, man versus wild,
man versus nature, or man versus whatever.
Yeah, this is like man versus a gigantic boulder and gravity.
Yeah. And time.
Yeah, man versus superstition, time, and science.
Right. It's so good.
That's what I'm saying. It stands out because there's hardly anything like it as an opener.
Got a couple of other ones on here from specifically the Daniel Craig Bond films. Now, I have Skyfall on here. What better way to open up your Bond movie than to kill your fucking Bond? Kill in quotes, of course, but scene where they're on the train and he's like riding it ends on the train and they're like fighting the dudes with chains and then Moneypenny shoots him.
Yeah.
And then like there's like the bit before that. It's a huge opening sequence, like where they're riding on the bikes, like
Oh, and yeah.
he's like in front of the what's that the thing in Turkey, Istanbul, the big landmark, the Hagia Sophia, I think is what it's called. But yeah, that opening scene is great.
I think you could make the case that about all the Bond movies have excellent hooks. Well, I say all of them have at least good hooks.
Yeah.
I'd say about 3/4 of them are really, really good.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I would say that's one of the first series, at least, to really emphasize hooks.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did it with Daniel Craig in Casino Royale, I think, really, really brilliantly too. And though that technically the first scene of that is like the scene where he walks in on the one rogue MI6 agent and he kills him.
Yeah.
The scene I always remember starting off Casino Royale is that fucking foot chase up the crane and like. Remember that?
No, they were right in time when parkour was cool for about 3.5 years.
Right, and I'm like,
they were right at it, and then it's like, guys, I've got a great idea for Quantum of Solace. The parkour. It's like, dude, parkour is stupid now. No one does it. Like, fuck.
Right.
Well, at least we got the first one.
What I loved is that it's like the one dude is like really good at parkour, but like James Bond like isn't. Like they have that one scene where like the dudes like they're jumping through like that building that's like under construction, and like the dude like jumps through like 2 pieces of drywall like a really small slat, and like James Bond just like fucking barrels through the fucking drywall himself. Like it's just like it builds character really well. You can tell that like James Bond isn't necessarily like he's kind of a rough diamond at this point. Like he doesn't really he's not very precise. He just kind of wants to get the job done.
Well, it's also like, I mean, he's trained for a number of scenarios, but it's like you can't prepare for every little thing.
Yeah,
especially
I forgot how to chase the guy up the crane.
Yeah, I forgot how to jump from crane to crane and hang from steel girders and shit.
Hijack a bulldozer lesson like that fucking scene.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But he's crafty. I mean, he is James Bond.
He sure is that Jim Bond.
It's like the opening sequences, they always, and especially the way they always go into a song.
Oh yeah, well that's a whole other discussion. Best title sequences in movies.
That's because I guess that's the end of the hook.
I guess in a way,
title sequence.
Well, and it is a to each its own thing too. I mean, some movies have the hook and the titles happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Others, it's like they're very distinctly like, here's the titles, then you have your opening scene,
right,
or vice versa.
They're sort of. Some of them are kind of interspersed with the credits. It depends on. I think it depends on how tense or how active the hook is.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think you're definitely right though. It's a stylistic choice I think directors need to make. But I think for sure the one thing is you have to the hook always has to, one, kind of encapsulate everything your movie's about.
Right.
What the characters are going to. The characters don't necessarily need to be in it, meaning like the protagonist doesn't need to be in it, as some other hooks in this list will go down and see that there aren't. But you need to get what the movie or what the characters are going to be like for the rest of the movie in that hook. You need to get the tone, kind of what the plot's about, but it also, like, I think the best hooks almost function as like their own short film.
Right.
Like a companion piece for the rest of the movie, where even if you like cut them from the rest of the film, the movie itself would be fine. But like that short is so fucking solid that it works both ways.
I think I agree partly with you could cut it. It's like I agree with the thing what you're saying about it being a short film. I'm not so sure about you could cut it and the movie would be fine. It's like I guess the movie would be fine, but you need. I think this is true with all intros, whether they're a regular introduction or a hook. I think it should be something separate, just so you get an idea of, again, the characters, the world they're in, and what they're about to do. Because Indiana Jones, he goes to that temple, and that's that. Mm-hmm. He's done with that thing and that boulder, that whole boulder deal.
Yeah.
And but that's part of his thing. He's like, well, that was a great adventure. What's the next one?
Yeah. It could go either way. Like, honestly, we could start, like, at college.
Yeah.
With Indian, that girl's got "I love you" written on her eyelids or whatever the fuck. Remember
Yeah.
that scene?
Or like Rush Hour, everything to do with the plot later on is in the hook.
Right.
Or, for example, this whole genre, which I would say horror movies oftentimes have really excellent hooks.
They sure do.
And I would say a prime example would be Scream.
Yes.
Especially the whole idea, because it's like, there's been a million slasher movies, and it was the usage of the telephone.
Oh, yeah.
That, was making this what it was. Now, there were earlier examples, such as the creepy phone calls in Black Christmas.
Yeah.
But that was not I don't think that was super popular back in the day.
Wasn't there also, like, When a Stranger Calls? Was that the original? Because was that a remake?
Probably. I can't remember. I think so. Mm-hmm. There's, like, Dial M for Murder, I think.
Yeah.
Has phonage in it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Point is, it was really making that motif part of Scream's DNA.
It was scary.
Well, also, it's like, I think it's one of those things that good horror movies do, is you kind of think, like, it's similar to what I said about thrillers, like, God, that would fucking suck, or, like, that would creep me out.
Right.
Because he starts off kind of friendly, and she's like, what is this guy's deal? Mm-hmm. And then he's like, I'm gonna kill you, and she's like, what?
Yeah.
It's just like everything all of a sudden changes so drastically.
Oh, yeah.
And, again, to your point about hooks, about introducing the world, the self-awareness is very important in Scream.
Yeah, no, I think Scream is also another hook where it's a perfect, like, little microcosm of the entire movie.
Right.
It's scary, it's a little goofy, self-aware, violent, it's all those things.
And then on top of that, you have a famous person just dies
killed
in the first scene.
Yeah, they kind of pull a Hitchcock and Psycho, where it's like, oh yeah, this is Drew Barrymore. She's gonna be the protagonist. It's like, nope, not quite.
It's gonna be Neve Campbell. Thank you very much.
Yes, you can have your Drew Barrymores. This is a Neve Campbell picture.
Yeah, exactly. Another classic horror movie that does a great job with the hook, Child's Play.
Oh, yeah. Really action-packed hook in a little bit.
It is, because it's like, oh, shit, this is like almost like a regular action movie. And then you see Charles Lee Ray, played brilliantly by Mr. Brad Dourif.
Oh, yeah.
He's bleeding out because he's been hit, as we see. And then where does he go with his voodoo skills? A toy store, of course. And the best is how he just falls over and knocks over all the toys. No, it's a great dramatic, like, I don't know, like, symbolism and shit, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't know what the
mean?
fuck I'm saying. Yeah, it's like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
It's like the toys are scattered, like his mind. I don't know. My point is, like, it's cool because you're like, oh, I see what he's, especially if you've seen the trailer or whatever, you're like, oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah. I like it.
And then immediately within the space of 10 minutes, you get exactly how this movie's going to go. You're like, all right, so this is Chicago in the 80s. And they're like, see, the world sucks in Chicago in the 80s. Like, everything's gross. Every building looks disgusting.
Yeah.
And then there's toy stores in some of these buildings. And then within that, you get the idea of it's like a gritty Chicago, or a depiction of a gritty Chicago, and voodoo exists. And that this is a violent, unforgiving world. And that's exactly how the movie Child's Play plays out.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a terrific hook,
no
man.
Pun intended.
There you go. So another one on this list is another really unsettling and sort not action-packed, but there's action in it type of hook, and that's the hook for Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the hook and hook.
The hook and hook. I don't remember the hook and hook. Is that where Phil Collins shows up and he's the doctor?
I have no idea. I was just making a lame joke.
That's okay. That's another movie I need to sit down and rewatch.
Yeah.
But no, Inglourious Bastards. Yeah. Do you remember anything about this hook?
Was that the one where they're like lining up the dudes and shooting them?
No, this is the one.
I don't remember. I've only seen that a couple times.
They're in this is the one where what's his name? Hans Landa, played by Christoph Waltz, is like he goes up to that house.
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
harboring
And
all the people under the floorboards.
They're like hiding. Yeah.
Yeah, and like where he's like talking to him, he's like, "I'm going to speak English now," or whatever. And he's like, "I'm going to speak French now," or like he takes out the milk and he's like, it's got a lot of like Tarantinoisms, but it's also just like a really unsettling and like scary scene and like a great introduction to that character and kind of what the rest of this movie is going to be about. Like a little, not a little, what do you call it? Like not what you're expecting. Like it's kind of subverts a lot of expectation, and it just creates a lot of tension, kind of like the whole movie does. That movie's like 6 scenes of just like people talking and like ending in shootouts, which is like, you think after like 20 years of Tarantino movies, I'd have him figured out where like most of his movies end that way.
Yeah.
But he never ceases to like,
I think,
get me entertained.
I think a lot of what you're saying, that comes from the whole idea of its revisionist history.
Yeah.
Because they're not painting over the fact of the horrors of war, but at the same time, it's like, we're going to somehow, again, subvert your expectations by adding his quirks to it.
Mm-hmm. Some honorable mentions here. The previous 2 Mission Impossible films, Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation, they got some good opening hooks for me. I don't know if you remember the Ghost Protocol hook was like the prison break.
Yes, that was excellent.
They're playing Dean Martin over the speakers. That's a fun little... It is a good return to form for like...
Right.
These movies are supposed to be fun, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
We know Mission Impossible 3 was all dark, but...
I mean, it was good, but it's like...
Great.
Let's
have some fun.
Let's calm the fuck down here.
And then Ghost Protocol had Tom Cruise, grabbing onto a plane as it's lifting off, which is great. A great little action.
Was that the first scene?
I think so.
Man, see, that's one of those things, though. It's like, that's the craziest scene, and it's in the beginning.
It's in the beginning.
Well, and now I think, while we're talking about multi-film series, we gotta talk about the obvious ones.
Which ones?
Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
Man, am I glad you brought Let's talk about Dark Knight Rises first, since it's not as good as the Dark Knight in my opinion, but if anything, it's
well,
the only reason it's not as good...
I think the Dark Knight one is maybe, I guess, better
just because
like
of the character.
Story and character,
but the action in Rises is like, holy shit.
That's one of those things where it's like, that's amazing that they got that filmed and got that to... they made that work out the way it did.
Dear God, seeing that in IMAX, seeing Bane like press that detonator and having the fuselage of the fucking plane drop out from underneath him like a trap door, is just like, and seeing that in IMAX 70mm at Navy Pier is like, Jesus God, my God, that is awesome.
It just looks unreal.
Oh my God, it looks surreal. You're like, how the fuck did they shoot this? Like, how'd they do it?
I always wonder about things where it's like that tough to set up. It's like, how on earth did you make that not go horribly awry?
Yeah.
Because like, you hear about shit going wrong and it'll just be like, it just fucks up a bunch of scenes, but like nothing that spectacular in particular. Because how part of the issues with Waterworld were that sets were being blown away by tsunamis and stuff.
Right. It was like a reverse apocalypse now. The movie ended up shitty instead.
Basically, yeah. But what I mean is, it's like, that affects a bunch of scenes, and I don't know exactly which ones that affects, but how on earth do you plan for something like the opening of Dark Knight Rises? How do you plan for that to go right?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, it's just... It blows me away where it's like, okay, what's our next scene here? Okay, so a bunch of guys are going to rappel down from a plane and they're going to go onto the wings of this other plane. They're going to shoot into the windows and they're going to jump in through the windows. It's like,
what?
It's like, what the fuck? Like, okay.
It's like, all right, so who has suggestions that are actually possible to film?
Yeah, let's do something better.
It's like, no, I got this.
It's like, okay, sure, yeah, we'll just shoot that on a soundstage. No. We're going to shoot this over Scotland.
Yeah, we're going to do this for real.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess we're just going to tell all our stunt and crew that day that they just won't have insurance for the next few months.
Yeah. Our insurance, something's going on with it. Meanwhile, we have this signature.
It's been canceled overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope they won't read the fine print.
Right.
But, it's a fantastic scene. But for me, the Dark Knight is like... So, they shot that scene, that opening bank robbery scene, in the old Chicago post office, which is at, like, Canal and something. It's in Chicago. And, like, if you take the Eisenhower in...
Yeah.
Or if you take the Eisenhower out, Congress Parkway goes underneath that building, or, like, within the building, sort of. where they shot that. It's an abandoned post office, but they still keep it. Every
Right.
time I fucking drive through that, I'm always like, oh yeah, this is that building where they shot the fucking bank robbery scene in the Dark Knight. Like, that's how fucking, like, that's one of those scenes where, like, you see it and you're like, oh my god, this is gonna be a trip.
That's one of those things. Is, you know how someone said, I forgot what I read this, but usually people, when there's like, just give it a chance, it's like, no, if you're like 10 minutes in and you're like not digging a movie, there's a very good chance you're just not gonna like it.
Mm-hmm.
That movie, I remember seeing that and I'm like, yep, I'm seeing a great like, I'm about to see a great movie.
Yeah.
And I see, that's where I'm saying a hook where, you know, the best part of the movie may be the hook sometimes. Dark Knight, I wouldn't say it's the best part, but it works perfectly as an opener, because you're like, wow, so we got more of this. Like, more of this is on the way.
It's definitely a strong downbeat.
Right. Yeah, but I remember seeing that, and my impression was like, yeah, I think I'm about to see, like, I had a feeling without even knowing, like, this will probably be one of the better movies I've seen in a very long time.
Oh yeah, it's just everything's done well. Like the mystery and like the you know, people killing each other to get, you know, all the money, and that being an audition or like a weird like whole experiment for the Joker. You know, when you realize he's there the whole time, it's just like such a fantastically like ideated scene. It's just like, this is very well thought out and interesting.
Right, and that's the thing, because I think that has to do with how the camera keeps moving.
Mm-hmm.
That's another important part to note.
Oh yeah.
I really liked the editing and the way they kept that thing moving, because, again, it makes the scene feel like it's moving faster.
The music too helps.
Yeah,
really intense.
Really, it's just like the perfect marriage of everything.
Yeah.
Post-production, production, and
acting, writing.
Yeah.
It's just
everything comes
works
together in that scene perfectly. And that is one of the best parts, is the idea that Joker's so weird, and he's just, you know, kind of blending in, you know, in plain sight, or at least with the other robbers, in a way. Mm-hmm. So that I thought that was real neat.
Yeah, no, it's my personal favorite, but yeah, there's probably a bunch that we're missing on here, but I think the main point is you know, these opening scenes they're the like we said, like, they're the downbeats of this song that is this movie we're about to watch.
Right.
And they're supposed to set a lot of things. They're supposed to set the tone, they're supposed to set the story, the characters, the genre. And overall, it's just supposed to be a very strong scene at its outset. Now, there are plenty of movies rather that have come about that are just like, whatever, here's a scene of, you know, a character waking up and then getting dressed or whatever. Like, that's fine. And those movies might even be better than movies that have stronger opening scenes and are weaker for the rest of the movies. But I feel like if you have a strong opening scene and then you're strong for the rest, it's just like, man.
I think that's hard to accomplish, though.
Oh, yeah.
For example, if they had somehow reworked it so the crazy chase scene in Bullet was the first scene, like, it's like, well, fuck this. Like,
why am I watching the rest of this?
Why am I watching the rest of this? I would say this. Your first scene should never be the most expensive or, you know, most production heavy scene.
Yeah, it shouldn't be
the last scene should, more often than not.
Yeah.
Or the climax, at least, not the last scene, but, you know, the climax should always be the most
involved
in sort of production heavy scene.
Yeah, there should be a build to that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just obvious. It's like, save the best for last.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, that's supposed to be what the climax is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the biggest scene, but, you know, there's always going to be fun along the way. You know, for every, what is it, like, unfinished skyscraper fight scene with the Joker, there's a truck flip, you know, or the hospital explosion or something like that, or Hong Kong, you know.
But it's like, it should all be building up to this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I know I mentioned Bullet. I just don't fucking get that movie.
I know. It's like
that, because the airport shootout is like kind of cool, but the stakes seem so much higher in the chase. And I think that's what I've been trying to say this whole time, is the stakes should seem highest.
Yeah.
At the climax.
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like that's the car chase. That's the one thing everyone talks about with that movie.
I think it's because maybe well, maybe that's another discussion for another day, but maybe that's the best scene in the whole movie because it's the best scene in the whole movie, and maybe that's saying something about the rest of Bullet. Is the rest of Bullet not as good as that?
It's definitely not as good. Like, the movie's all right. Like, it's like 3 or 3.5 out of 5, but it's like, yeah, that one scene is like a 5 out of 5.
We gotta do a discussion on movies known for just one scene.
Oh God, I could go on and on about that.
Oh yeah. But anyway.
But yeah, back to the hooks and stuff.
The hooks. No, they're. I would say they're. You can make an argument that any scene is the most important scene in a movie. The climax, the ending, the midpoint, the second act turning point, the moment where we break into the second act. But I get why people would say the first scene is the most important.
Yeah, and I think, but what I think we've stumbled upon is the fact that it's hard to make a movie with balance.
Mm-hmm.
So in making that first scene so good, it's like, man, I hope they're ready to follow this up. And boy, were they in Dark Knight. And I think that's why it's regarded as such a good movie, is not only because it's so well crafted and well written and all this other stuff, but because it's just good the whole way through.
Yeah, it's a perfect balance.
Like, yeah. And I would say, even though I haven't seen it in a long time, like, Raiders is great the whole way through. It follows that structure because you've got, here he is in this adventure, and then it's like, all right, he's a teacher, but you're interested because you're like, oh, so that's why he was able to know all this shit and not get caught in the spikes. Like, you're interested in learning about this character, and it's like, hey, I got another mission. You're like, man, he's gonna do it again. This crazy son of a bitch. You're into everything you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are peaks and valleys. Like, obviously, the more exciting scenes, like, they grab your attention a little bit more, but you're definitely interested. Again, like with Tarantino, the build-up in between action scenes exists, even in more action-packed movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's well, someone could bring up the point where it's like, well, yeah, of course the opening scene is good in The Dark Knight because the whole movie's good. Of course the opening scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark is good because the whole movie's good. It's like, do you think there are any movies that exist that have just good opening scenes and that's it? I actually saw one recently.
What's that?
You remember that movie Hostiles with Christian Bale?
I didn't see it, but I remember hearing about it, yeah.
The opening scene of that movie is so fucking good.
Yeah.
But the rest of the movie just never, ever follows it up.
Right, and see, that's what I'm saying is the danger of, like, blowing the load too early.
Right. It's important, and it's possible to have it both ways. It's possible for really good movies to have kind of nondescript opening scenes too. Like, I would say the opening scene of Shawshank is like not the best scene in the movie. It's just Andy Dufresne getting sent to prison.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it sets up stuff well.
That's the other thing, is I think there's a difference between a really good or even like a just serviceable opening scene, right? Because again, it's like you're just starting to roll the ball up the hill, so sometimes, like, some openings are like, I mean, a good movie is going to have at least an okay opening,
right?
No good movie has a shitty opening.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
Like, when I was in theaters at Black Hat, they were doing this weird thing with the title sequence. I'm like, okay, this is going on too long.
Mm-hmm.
I already don't like this. I'm like, in the back of my head, it's like, because this movie's gonna suck. And I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes. And then about 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh boy. and then about an hour later into the movie, when these high school kids were laughing at every line, I'm like, wow. Okay, I gotta say, this is off topic. There's a scene in Black Hat where, like, it's supposed to be serious, like the Chinese girl who's like Chris Hemsworth's like sidekick, or like she's helping him out on this case or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're in love or whatever, like 1940s style. Like, oh, we met each other for 2 days and we're opposite sex, so, well, according to Hollywood law, we gotta bang.
Let's do this.
Yeah. So it's like one of those romances, and like they're having a sad moment. She's like, I have to go, and he's like, oh, don't. And like, I kid you not, it's like it must have been windy when they were shooting, the hair like blows in her eyes and she's like crying or whatever, and it does not look like it's part of the script. He just like reaches over and like gets it out of her face or whatever, and like everyone in the theater was laughing.
Oh my god.
Like, yeah, but what the fuck were we talking about? Sorry.
I don't remember.
Something about something. Hold on, let's retrace our steps. Something about hooks.
I think we're talking about fishing.
Oh no, we were talking about if it's just an okay opener.
Oh yeah, no, I think you're right though.
Yeah.
They have to be both. They have to deliver the exposition you're expecting, but they also, well, and there are some movies that just do that. Like I'd say the Shawshank opening just does that. It's like okay, he's going to jail.
Right.
But there are movies where it's like The Dark Knight or Raiders, where it's like, wow, this scene on its own gives me the exposition I'm looking for. It gives me the roadmap to the rest of the movie I'm looking for. But as a scene on its own, like I'd pay $1 to see this fucking scene, like in a theater. Like holy shit.
Like, you know what I think of as like a sort of weird opening scene, just because it's definitely not the tone of the whole movie.
What's that?
The opening scene of Captain America: Civil War.
I thought.
It's like super bleak. You know,
Yeah.
It's just like Winter Soldier just killing or soon to later be revealed.
Yeah.
Spoilers, but not really, because
Get with the times, fools.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Anyway,
Tony's parents.
you're one of the 5 people who hasn't seen Infinity War. I'm sorry, but yeah,
Yeah.
Tony's parents, and
Yeah,
it's just like that scene. Just like, geez, that's a bit glum.
Oh yeah, it's like it sets the stakes immediately.
In a weird way, I feel like the true hook, if you will, is like the beginning when they're fighting in Lagos
With crossbones.
Yeah, because it's like you have this villain who you're not going to see again, so it's like, that's kind of, it's like another day at the office for these guys. This is what they're up to.
Winter Soldier did that very well too with Batroc.
Oh yeah, see, I was
on the ship.
Yeah, those are now that's a hook, I tell you.
Oh man, it's got everything. You know,
and that's another one where it's like that was a really goddamn good hook, but there's plenty more action to go around.
Oh yeah,
like you got your elevator scene,
right. You got
your DC
interstate fight or whatever.
And then you got the finale.
Oh yeah,
again, go big or go home.
Shield.
Right. That's what I'm saying though. That's like a perfect example. It's like this is really goddamn entertaining.
Yeah, and then like Batroc doesn't have much else to do with the movie.
Right.
You know, it's so much its own thing, but it's such a perfect scene.
It gives you an exact look into what's going on.
Oh yeah.
It shows you how Cap has changed.
Oh yeah, it shows you how he's adapting to the times.
Yeah, he's learning his new crazy Krav Maga, Muay Thai, like new styles.
Right.
Sistema and all that fun stuff. We mentioned Sistema a lot on here.
We do.
It's fun stuff.
It sure is.
Or it looks fun. I've never tried it. But anyway, it's like yeah, that's a perfect example of the hook, because it's like there's plenty more where that came from. And again, it's the same thing with Dark Knight. Plenty more where that came from. With certain, I don't know, can you think of a movie where the hook is like, well, that's it. There's nothing's going to beat that.
Oh, man. I don't know. I mean, there's...
I think, because generally, if you're going to have a hook that good, it's like, chances are there's going to be other better, or at least on par scenes in the movie.
You know what I forgot?
What's that?
How about the, like, insanely long, like, shouldn't be that long, but is hook for Man of Steel? How fucking cool is the Krypton sequence?
Yeah, see, I really like that.
I love that. Like, that's something on paper where you're like, we're spending 15 minutes of this 2.5-hour movie on Krypton.
It's like sure no. are.
But it's like, no, fuck you, we are. We're going to show you how it all went down, and, man, it's good.
Yeah, see, I also thought that was a pretty rad opener.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that definitely, I was like, wow, this could very well be its own movie.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, nope, Krypton's going to explode. And you're like...
You know what's going to happen, too. You're like, I know this place is going up.
You're almost like, man, I could use more. But you're like, all right, I'll roll with this new stuff.
Yeah. And then they bring back Jor-El, and he's on the ship and all that shit.
Right. You know, another superhero movie that does that. Actually, I think this might be an example of what I was talking about.
Uh-oh.
The opener of X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
I think that might be better than anything else in the movie.
You might be right.
I gotta say, because it's like, it's not a terrible movie.
No.
Like, I'd give it 3-ish out of 5, maybe 3.5 if I'm feeling generous. But there's nothing that compares to how cool that ancient Egypt with the ancient mutants was.
Oh yeah, holy God. What a cool scene. Like, what a metal ass, like, people are, like, exploding and, like, getting their limbs ripped off and shit. I'm like, wow.
That stuff. And see, I thought that's so cool. It's like, this is, like, an interesting scene you don't see all the time.
Right.
The idea of, what would this mutant phenomenon be like in ancient Egypt, thousands of years ago? And, we don't see a lot of movies about Egypt. And, well, I guess part of the blame goes to gods of Egypt, but like, I'm just saying, it's like I like when you have scenes of things where, like, well, this specific thing and period of time, it's like there's been a few certainly, like Mummy and Cleopatra, but it's like whenever that movie came out, 2014, 15,
Apocalypse,
or is that 16?
I think it was 15.
Whatever, it was pretty recent. You're like, oh, it's been a while since we've seen something cool like this, and boy did it deliver.
Oh man.
And you know what? In that case, I think that might be the one where it's like this over-delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't allot its enjoyment into the right spots.
Right.
Put it all in the beginning, I think.
Okay, so again, I guess the question we've been pondering is the good opening scene. So we talked about what's it called? The prison one. Jesus Christ. Shawshank. Good God. Anyway, so we talked about Shawshank. Would you consider Tommy Boy's opening scene a hook? The montage of him, like, holy shit, being chased by the dog and stuff, and then it blends into now.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, and I think that's a very effective hook.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
Because that's a classic he hasn't changed hook.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Which is great. Because, like, there's some other, I have no idea what movie this is. It's like some, like Chuck Norris-y, like, B-level movie, but there's this kid, like, they go to karate school and he's like, oh, he sucks. But then they show him, spin kick, orange belt, and then does another spin kick, yellow belt, like another spin kick, green belt or whatever, until he's black belt.
Oh my God.
And then he beats up a kid in full football pads, and, like, kicks. Like, he doesn't break his foot on the helmet.
That should be the hook for every movie forever.
No, I have no idea what this movie is.
That's going to be my homework for this week.
Yeah, you know what?
Figure out this movie.
I can't remember what it was. That was not a good hook.
Okay.
I thought the belts thing was cool.
Yeah.
But the rest of the movie was terrible. And
definitely showcases Passage of Time well.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. A good showcase, a good Passage of Time thing.
Right. Oh, man.
Yeah, so I guess the main difference between a hook, like you said, it's almost its own little microcosm.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, not always, but a lot of times, not directly related to the plot.
Yeah, and a lot of times...
For instance, in Jaws, the people who get eaten by the sharks, it's actually a tiger shark, it's not Jaws.
Exactly.
No, I'm kidding, but... Yeah, I don't know. Point is, hooks are hooks.
When they're good, they're good.
And when they're bad, they're bad.
And it doesn't always mean that when you get a good hook, you're going to get a good movie. But usually it does. And it doesn't always mean when you get a bad opening scene, you're going to get a bad movie either. Sometimes it does.
I can't think of a movie with a bad opening scene. Mm-hmm. I can think of movies that start slow, like A Separation.
Yeah.
Because I remember we both watched that for class. We're like, where the fuck is this going? Mm-hmm. And then when the shit goes down, you're like, all right, I'm very interested to see how this plays out.
Right.
You're like, I don't know why, but all of a sudden I care about everything going on. I care a lot.
And I'm a white dude from Aurora, Illinois, and I'm not from fucking Iran.
Yeah, you're like, but I want to see how this goes.
Right.
A Man for All Seasons starts really slow.
Yeah.
It starts, like, the first, like, third of it's pretty slow. And then, like, seriously picks up.
That's a whole nother discussion. Movies that like, sleeper hit you in the second half.
Or sleeper suck.
Yeah, sleeper douche you.
Yeah, it's just like, there's some movies where a chunk of it is 5 out of 5.
Oh, man.
But, yeah. I think that's part of the thing with hooks, though, is again, it's hard to balance a whole movie.
It sure is.
But the good ones find a way, and I think we have the hooks to thank for that.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to this 11th episode of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. Feel free to check us out on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or check us out on SoundCloud, where you can shoot us a like, give us a comment, or tell us what you want to see from another episode down the line. Thanks for listening again, and see you next time.